Blushing in the darkness, she crossed the wee dining room with its round Cavalier-style table and 4 chairs. It must be the night and the rain and too much work, she thought tiredly as she reached for a cup on the antique table by the hearth, only to jump at a soft shush, followed by a soft voice from the crack of the kitchen door. Her unexpected guest peered around the door's edge. "Oh, aye, it's a braw cottage. How'd you come by it?" He pushed his way through the door and moved slowly to join her, taking in every corner of the room with an appreciative eye. Her mind seemed to stumble a moment, then returned. A professor has relatives in Edinburgh, and they suggested it. "A fine fire," he observed. Embarrassed, she swept her hand toward it. "I'm sorry, please come. It'll help you dry off, I suppose." But she noted as he moved towards the hearth that his slacks seemed almost dry now, and his hair was regaining its fullness. It gleamed in the faint golden light of the room, longer than she thought it was at first, with blonde curls forming along his collar. His coat was now a dark olive color rather than the charcoal it had appeared when wetter. She stared longer than was polite, and she suddenly realized he was wearing a dark gold V-neck sweater over a white shirt, with a pattern of darker brown thread that looked almost laced along the sweater sleeves and neck. And he was wearing boots, or whether rough suede shoes with a tie flap and casual natural stitching along the toe. They too were growing lighter as they dried. She blinked, remembering dark loafers from a glance out the peephole. "Aye, a braw cottage," he murmured again, taking a sip of his steaming tea as he turned his back to the hearth and surveyed the rest of the room. She glanced around at herself, wondering what papers and junk she'd left scattered about, then suddenly realized it didn't look so bad. The copper pot of dried flowers on the mantel gleamed in the firelight, and the cacophony of colors, floral drapes, paisley floor, knickknacks, and assorted pillows, made the room rather cheerful and uplifting. She didn't know why she had always thought of it as ancient and threadbare before. It seemed quite charming now. "I've not seen its like in many a year," he added as he moved to the hearth. He spotted the book in her chair and dug it out of the crevice between the cushion and the armrest, smiling at the embossed title in gold on the old leather. "A Survey of Scottish Legends and Ballads by Sir Arthur Markham." He glanced up at her with a sly smile. "And what does Sir Arthur say of your urban legends?" "Not much." She took the book from him and a little abashed laid it on the table. "He's only interested in old folk tales." "But I thought you didn't believe in those." "Doesn't matter," she shrugged. "It's not my job to believe. Just document and analyze." Yeah. She gathered her papers up well and tapped the pile against the table to straighten the stack. The sound made her realize she'd been a little abrupt. Apologetically, she nestled the stack next to the lamp and added, my notes. He shook his head and gave a silent whistle of respect. "All that work for something you can no see or touch or even imagine?" "Well, I suppose you can hardly prove or disprove folklore," she offered, striving not to insult the man's native traditions. "I mean, I guess you don't have to see oxygen to believe in it, and some would say the same for fairies. Although I'm personally not ready to believe, old photos notwithstanding," she added wryly, thinking of a famous hoax from the early 1900s. "Oh, there's some what tuck the old tales to heart, all right," he nodded in solemn agreement, oblivious to her sarcasm. "And why not? Some dreams are more solid than sunlight, and the mind's eye sees visions that others cannot, although the second sight is a rare gift even amongst Scots." He fell silent a moment, musing on it, as did she, lured by the conviction in his voice and the tangle of knowledge, legends, old books, and lingering beliefs, all stirring in the back of her mind. His voice came again, soft and even more alluring. "Why don't you come with me and my friends? We're off to a grand party just over the hill. You could rest your poor brain for one night, although I'll not warrant your feet. They'll be dancing most till dawn." Surprised and suddenly self-conscious, she laughed and fingered her robe. "No, thanks, it's a bit too late for me." She stopped, startled, as the mantel clock chimed 12 times. She'd looked at it just before his first knock, and it was barely 10, or so she thought. "There'll be those there that can tell you a tale if you've a mind. And music," he added with a smile, "the like of which I doubt you've ever heard. Best pipers in the land." "I can imagine," she said, thinking of the traditional Kele, although it didn't even sound like fun this late and on such a wild night. "Can you now?" he said, so soft with meaning that she caught the inflection on the first word. There was no mistaking the dare. She managed to smile, but lowered her chin and folded her arms resolutely. He was charming, but she had just a little over a week to finish her work, and then it was back to the grindstone at home. It sounds lovely, but I really can't. She yawned and glanced at the mantel clock, thinking she'd have to reset that thing in the morning if she could figure out how without damaging the delicate mechanism. Do you know how long it will take your friends? Oh, they'll be here any time now. Are you sure you will nae throw on a frock and coon? It's the least I can do to repay your hospitality. He raised one hopeful eyebrow, almost raising another blush in her cheeks. She shook her head again. He cocked his own, his green eyes glinting mischievously. Are you afraid I'll whisk you off to fairyland under some hillock until you're old and grey? No, I'm afraid you'll whisk me off to some desolate moor and slit my throat. But the thought passed almost before it congealed. She smothered a laugh, half chagrined at her own susceptibility to legend, urban and otherwise. Obviously, there was nothing wrong with her imagination.